Because it means that people who are elected to that places, people who go to that place, should know the meaning of democracy, should understand democracy. The reason why people elect them is because they should have a human face. Otherwise they'll be defeated. If we do not have human face, if we do not sympathize with the needy, then we lose the election. That is the reason why elections in America take place even for positions such as police chiefs. In a democracy, it's very important that we respect democracy. Many a times we see this conflict coming up. Many a times we see this conflict wherein we say, why should we care for an MLA? Why should we care for an MP? Many a times we see this conflict, especially police department. But at the end of the day, we are all in this process of democracy. If we do not respect democracy, then democracy would fall. Whether we like it, whether we don't like it, 2 lakh people exercise their franchise to get these people elected. 2 lakh people reimpose their faith in these people and voted for them. And if we do not respect them, usually it so happens in police department. That is the reason why I'm just bringing about this topic. Then democracy just falls flat. It's so very important that we understand this, that we need to work together. We need to have an inclusive, cooperative strategy in place. I do not say support them in illegal activities. I do not say support them in looting. I do not say support them in corruption activities. No. Anything to do with corruption? No. Anything to do with illegal activities? No. Anything to do with looting? No. But the rest of the matters, all other matters, we need to work together. We need to take them into confidence. We need to put them as the face. See, no MLA wants a bad name. No MP wants a bad name. Nobody in public life wants to have a tag that he's bad. All what you need to do is just involve him in the governance part, so that they get a kick, that they're also part of the process. And you just convince them beforehand. Just sit down with them, smile, talk to them, give them a cup of coffee, smile, talk to them, and just convince them that ఇది చేస్తే మీకు చెడ్డ పేరు వస్తుంది, ఇది చేస్తే మంచి పేరు వస్తుంది. చెడ్డ పేరు వస్తుంది అన్నది why would they ask you to do? All what needs to be done is you just need to smile, talk to them, give a cup of coffee, and make them understand. That's it, as simple as that. If this happens, 50% of the problem is gone. If we don't do this, if we don't smile, if we don't lift their phones, then you have a problem. Just keep this ego aside. All of them. It applies to both sections. To the politicians as well as to the officers. We are together running this democracy for good governance. And it's very important that we sail together. So just make a few changes in your approach. It makes things better. Having said this, about wanting to be number one police, wanting to follow the best practices. Having said this, I would want to bring about certain issues. కొన్ని విషయాలు, out of my experience from the previous government, I would want to bring about a few issues. Now, when we speak about good governance, when we speak about best practices, when we speak about wanting to be number one police, గత ప్రభుత్వ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్లు కొన్ని చెప్తాను. యథేచ్ఛగా, right in front of our eyes, అంతెందుకు, in fact, you know where the chief minister's residence is, right beside. Right in front, right beside, you see sand being looted. You see poclanes working. You see JCBs working. You see hundreds of lorries going, taking sand, dispatching sand. Everybody knows it's illegal. It's happening right in front. It doesn't just stop with just CM's residence and right beside the CM's residence. This activity is happening. You see in West Godavari, an MRO, a lady MRO, was dragged out, was caught by hair. It hit all the newspapers because she was obstructing an MLA from looting. She was obstructing an MLA who was involved in sand mafia. Is this best practice? Is this number one police? It just doesn't stop with West Godavari or this district here. Everywhere, all over the state, right in front of our eyes, మన కళ్ళ ఎదుటనే JCBs are working, poclanes are working, hundreds of lorries of sand is being looted. Yet we don't do anything. We know it is illegal. Is this best practice? మన కళ్ళ ఎదుటనే ఇదే జిల్లాలో, just go to Guntur, it hit all the newspapers. It went to the court. Illegal mining. Illegal mining. Rampant illegal mining. Right in front of our eyes, right neighboring district, Guntur. What did we do? Is this the best practice? Is this number one policing? We need to ask ourselves. Right in front of our eyes, MLAs demanding money from theatres, theatre owners. Also Guntur. Institutions are forced to pay money. Clubs are run where gambling takes place. MLAs are involved. All this is happening in front of our eyes, was happening in front of our eyes. Is this the best practice for governance, good governance? Is this number one policy? Right in this capital city, in the name of land pooling, land Ivanivaru, who were not wanting to part with their land. It's their land. We need to respect that. But government wants it, somebody is not wanting to part. There's no humanity shown. Right in front of our eyes, people who did not want to cooperate, they were harassed. False cases booked. So much so that 11 of them committed suicides. Just yesterday, I think I saw it in the Times of India newspaper headlines. RTI Act. 11 of them committed suicides. People who were not wanting to give land for land pooling. And 6 of them are Dalits. In them. Is this good governance, best practices? Is this number one policing? Right here in Vijayawada city, women were harassed, given money at high interest rates, and they were not able to pay. And because they were not able to pay, they were forced into sex racket. They were videographed in the city. Call money sex racket scam. What happened? How many cases booked? How many of them were arrested? Big zero. Is this best practice? Is this good governance? Is this the number one policing? I ask you straight, మిమ్మల్ని అడుగుతా ఉన్నా. So many of us are sitting here. IAS, yesterday I was posing the same question to the IAS officers. Now I'm asking you. So many of us officers are sitting here. IAS, IPS, civil servants, government, secretaries, highest level bodies, ministers, including the Chief Minister himself. All of us are sitting here, very well knowing that this building is illegal building. Very well knowing that this building where we're sitting in, has breached every violation. Letter written by the department quoting the rules, irrigation department quoting the rules. The road on which we traveled, the bund level, the maximum flood level of the flood level is 22.6. The area where we are sitting is at 19.6 meters. River Conservation Act breached. Lokayukta judgments breached. Green Tribunal judgments breached. Master plan breached. Building bylaws breached. In front of our eyes, ikkade మనకెళ్ళ ఎదుటనే సీఎం గారే ఇల్లీగల్ బిల్డింగ్లో ఉంటారు. పక్కనే మాజీ సీఎం గారు. Whatever it is, even if I do it, it's still wrong. Doesn't make a difference. We are in positions of authority. Does it justify? Because I am a CM, because you are an SP, because you are a collector, you can do it. We can't. How does it justify a CM staying in an illegal house, illegal property, illegal building lo untaru? Pakkane ikkade the government itself constructs an illegal building. And then what happened? Because CM himself is living in an illegal building, because the government itself constructs an illegal building, what happens? You see this entire road. Everywhere you have illegal buildings coming up. Nobody to stop. Nobody to stop. Right in front of our eyes. See this entire road. What are we doing? Is this good governance? Best practices? I ask all of you to think. ఆలోచన చేయమని అడుగుతా ఉన్నా. When we are in power, when we are in position of strength, it comes with responsibility. We need to live by an example. We need to set certain standards in place. And when we drop, do we have any moral right or authority to even question anybody else? We need to ask ourselves this basic question. That is why I say to all of you sitting down here, I say no to corruption, say no to looting, say no to illegal activities. And to clean up the system, to bring about a change into the system, to set a standard in place. Yesterday I gave a call. I said I'm holding this meeting just to showcase this. That this is not how one should be. This is not what we are. This is not good governance. Yesterday I said, let's start the demolition from here from this building. Today I'm asking you the same thing. Starting tomorrow, this building will be the first building to be demolished. Because we want to send a signal. We want to send a message. Once we start here, this entire road will be cleansed. It just doesn't stop here. I want you to take up this exercise in the districts as well. Send a message to the collectors as well as to the SPs. I speak to both of you. Show them that, we are different. Show them henceforth what has happened is happened. Henceforth, this government will bring about a change. We are not going to keep quiet if sand is outrightly looted. We are not going to keep quiet. Send a message. If illegal mining takes place, send a message. We are not going to keep quiet. If somebody forces people to give money, even if it means our MLAs, it doesn't make any difference. Send a message, we are not going to keep quiet. Send a message against illegal activities. Anything to do with illegalities, send a message. Anything to do with corruption, send a message. Anything to do with looting, send a message. Only then we bring about best practices. Only then we can talk about number one policing. Only then we can talk about good governance. It requires a strong will. And I'm saying to you that I'm with you. I'm with you. Anything you do it in this purview, my blessings are totally with you. I'm totally in support of you. Bring about a change. Let this system change. So when you talk about in the villages, ensure no bell shops. Bell shop itself is a criminal word. There is no word in the dictionary as a bell shop. But in my Padayatra, when I've noticed, I've seen not one in a village, several. Clubs, gambling, and when I asked that I'm attending this meeting, I asked a few of your senior colleagues, whom I've known them well, as to what are the best practices, what should I tell the collectors, what should I tell the SPs who are coming to meet me on best practices. Few suggestions came to me. They gave me this book. And I will not quote them all, but I just quote a few of them. What I think, when practiced, will give a good name to the SPs. Now, I strongly believe in one thing. We are here by the grace of God. And when we are here, because by the grace of God and by the grace of the people, that I am here. And through me, you're all SPs. When we send a message, we send a message together as one. When I say good governance, we're together as good governance. If I fail, you fail. If you fail, I fail. Tomorrow, if people are to vote for me back to power, it's only going to happen when all of us together deliver. If we don't deliver, if I don't deliver, you don't deliver, and people don't vote us out, when people vote us out, then it's failure on all our part. I've not done my job well, you've not done your job well. And ultimately the result is we've been voted out. So it's very important that we work together as one for good governance. But we work together as one to bring about this change. And when I was discussing about this change, few suggestions, what people have suggested, what I thought I'd share with you now today. A couple of them I've already told you. Friendly and transparent policy, and elaborating this friendly and transparent policy, I gave you a little bit of briefing beforehand. I said, first thing is, whenever somebody comes to you, forget about MLA, even anybody else, first thing, smile. Show your teeth. Abhishek, I want your teeth. We've got to be, we can't just be firm. You need to relax a bit. You need to be friendly with the people who come to you. They should not get a feeling that, oh my God, why should I come here? This man doesn't even care about me. No, that's not the way. The approach should be, we are here as their friends. The approach should be very friendly. The approach should be very transparent. We would have to give them the confidence because we are working for them. So let's get one thing on our mind straight. We are not different. We are public servants. We are not public rulers. We are public servants. That includes me, the biggest public servant, and it includes all of you here also, the same. So let's always keep that in mind. Once we get this into our head, then we'll open up a bit, we'll relax a bit, we'll smile, receive them properly. That's very important. I think 50% of the problem is addressed when we receive people properly. I think that's one thing that will go a long way for the best practice. Humility is a virtue. Something what I always learned from my father. Edige koddi odagali. As we keep growing, we've got to humble ourselves more and more. I think my father taught me well. I think being in the position that I am in today gives me a little bit of that room to advise you on that. Then you have another area what I just spoke about, dealing with the MLAs. I think I've made myself quite clear that we just against say no to corruption, say no to looting, say no to illegal activities. The rest of the areas, let's take them together. Let's work together. Let's have an inclusive governance. The rest of the areas. That's explicitly explained. I think you'll do well with it. To bring about, as I said, the people should sit tight. To bring about that, we've gone ahead and given weekly off. I think weekly off for police, I don't think it's anywhere in this country. Probably Bihar tried it for a while and somehow I don't think it actually went that far. But first time, weekly off for police, this is something what's coming from our governance. That is our meaning, all of us together. And we are committed to it. This weekly off would entitle the situation where we would have to be recruiting probably 20%, 25% more police into the force. We will do it. It gives emotional wellness. When somebody takes a day off, spends that time with the family, it helps. It rejuvenates the person. Because I strongly believe that it should be done. And then, God's grace, today we're implementing that. Please ensure that it is scrupulously followed. Pass a message to the lowest level of your department. Give them a break. Get in systems in place that it's scrupulously followed. The perception that police are biased, the perception that police are biased, especially this perception, especially if it is there in vulnerable sections, then I think we're doing a bad job. especially these Dalits, these weaker sections, if these people develop this kind of a perception on police, then I think we utterly failed in our duty. Because these people have no voice. They're the poorest of the lot. These people have no voice. And if these people, if they feel that police are biased, then that is something that we need to seriously ponder. That is one thing what I ask you to just give it a little bit of thought. There in those sections, perception should change. In the police department also, have a reception area. Let's engage, even if it's going to mean recruiting people, we will recruit people. Have somebody in the front section. The moment somebody comes into the police department, let it be a reception area with a wonderful smile, receiving the complainant. It should be done. When somebody comes to lodge a complaint, it's out of distress that they're coming. And it's not that, we're doing them a favor by taking the complaint. We're rendering our service. So it's very important that, you receive them well. With a smile, the receptionist receives them. Have them seated. Then a police comes. How do you see in the Western world? The police comes, talks to them, understands them, then files the case. These kind of mechanisms should have to come in place. I think all of you are youngsters, I think you can bring about this change, this transformation what was never there before. And I think Gautamanna also is wanting to bring about change, so I think they should be attempted. Friendly police. It's very important. And yesterday, while I was conversing with the collectors, I was mentioning about district portals. The district portals should document copies of FIRs, licenses, permissions given. All of these also should be made available in the district portals. The DPOs, the SDPOs, circle officers, SHOs should all be linked to this district portal, e-government system, to ensure speed and transparency. Now, when we have, two things will happen by showing this kind of transparency. One, it will mount pressure on us to expedite the disposal of these cases. That's good. Two, it will showcase transparency. Now, both these things are very important. Another important thing what I advise the SPs to do is have a gauge of citizens' satisfaction. Every police department, whichever areas they are, whichever jurisdictions they come under, just gauge how the SIs are performing, how CIs are performing, how DSPs are performing, how ASPs are performing. In that area, just conduct a third-party citizen gauge, third-party inquiries, so that you get feedback whether that CI is corrupt, whether that SI is corrupt, whether the DSP is corrupt. See, we at the top level decide to be non-corrupt. 50% of corruption is gone. Then the other 50% is, how do we curtail corruption at that stage? That's the 50%. That's the steps what we need to take. So have a gauge. Take periodical inquiries. Why do we believe? Why do we just believe somebody who says I'm not corrupt? You don't know how the SI is performing, or the CI is performing, how the DSP is performing. We just hear news and then we take decisions. Because that guy is sweet to us, because that guy speaks to us well, we presume that this guy is good. We don't know. Conduct a third-party inquiry. Gauge the perception from the people. How is this CI? How is this SI? You know for yourself. Then you can take a call. Shift him out, not to shift him out. Ask for somebody to be shifted out, not ask for somebody to be shifted out. These are the options, choices what you would have with more scientific, on scientific basis. Not out of whims and fancies, but more on scientific grounds. Take feedback from the victims, take feedback from the citizens on behavior of the officer, speedy disposal of cases by the officer, fairness of the officer, and all such parameters, what would actually improve. Then the response time. Now I was just telling yesterday, every level, mandal level to district collector level, in their respective offices, conduct a grievance cell is what I was telling them. Where in that grievance cell conducted on Monday, we named it as Spandana. We asked the officers not only to conduct the grievance cells, but also take their telephone numbers and give them a receipt as to when we would be clearing their plea. That helps. And that receipt, I asked the collectors to randomly check if that receipt is being honored or not. Collectors also would be doing that. Giving a receipt on speedy disposal, saying that I would dispose in 15 days' time. I would dispose this case in 1 week's time. I would dispose this case in 3 days' time. Whatever time you think is right, mention it in the receipt, on the receipt. Then it is your duty to ensure that it happens from the collector to the bottommost level. Then the collectors, when they go for inspection, surprise checks, meet the villagers, they can ask for the receipts. They say, has it been done or not? Have the timelines been met or not? It speaks something about the officer that you're dealing with. It speaks something about the credibility that is attached to this disposal mechanism. All that will happen if we can also bring about the same systems in place. No, it's something different. But when tried, it could send a strong message of credibility, of transparency, of speedy disposal. All three in place. I've asked the collectors to practice this. I would also request the SPs to bring it in place. It helps. Let there be, somebody goes to file a complaint. There is someone who receives them with a smile on their face. Somebody attends to them, takes their complaint, gives them a receipt, says that so and so matter would be disposed in so many days. There is a sense of confidence that, okay, I am well received, somebody is attending my job. It sends a strong signal. I think it will send a strong transformation signal. And also SPs also, if they can shun pre-guided tours and conduct surprise checks, make night halts in the villages, even that would help. Direct interaction with the villages, pay special focus in visiting the localities inhabited by the weaker sections. No SP going to a weaker section colony. SPs themselves asking, how is my CI doing? How is my SI doing? Are they doing good? Are you happy with them? It sends such a strong message. SP is doing. And it's not a pre-guided tour. Suddenly it's a surprise. Nobody knows where you're going. Suddenly you just get down, go to a weaker section, ask them, how is my CI doing? How is my SI doing? Are they doing good? Are you happy with them? And now it sends a strong message. It helps change the system. But please make sure that you smile when you go there. That helps. Then some of the guidance has come from cyber crimes. Police officials are not fully equipped to deal with these cases. But this is something what is becoming reality these days. Cyber stalking and harassment on social media against women should be given topmost priority. Women are something, if we cannot protect, then I think we're failing in our duty. Stalking, cyber harassment, especially with cell phones coming, at the numbers at which they're coming, all these things have become byproducts. Social imbalance, cyber harassment. We do not have sufficient training at the bottom level. Probably, organize for, training for us even at the topmost level, so that this training could be taken up to the bottommost level. Cyber crime is something this is going to be future. We need to gear up. Check out how other states are doing. Check out how the Western world is doing, how the developed countries are doing, how they're doing, and how are they dealing with it, and how do we deal with it. And then proper training at the bottommost level is very important. Eve T saying, I don't have to mention. Eve T saying, I guess by and large, I don't think I should go anything beyond this. I think all of you are quite capable. But I just thought, these are the best practices when we say good government, good governance, best practices, good policing, number one policing. I think these are the areas what should be touched. And I have absolute confidence and faith in you. In fact, if you remember right, before even my cabinet was sworn in, I finished recruitment of SPs. I finished recruitment of collectors. Before even my cabinet was sworn in. And you know how I did it? I just took 3 parameters: honesty, efficiency, and not leaning towards TDP. Of course, I had to do that. Otherwise, the system would get further polluted. Meaning balance, neutral. That means YCP is not in power, that means somebody would be leaning towards YCP, obviously. It's only going to be the ruling party that people would be leaning towards at best. The reason why I did what I did was, last 5 years the system collapsed. The SPs and the collectors were made party to it. In a way, they were just asked to see rather than to do anything. That's what I just spoke about. Sand mafia, the illegalities, what I just gave you examples, and they were just made party to it. Illegalities, what should not be tolerated, were tolerated. Looting, what was not supposed to have been tolerated, was tolerated. Corruption, what was not supposed to have been tolerated, was tolerated. And all of it happened in front of our eyes. So obviously I had to see for people who were not leaning towards TDP, so that, a neutral atmosphere could come out. So I looked at honesty, I looked at efficiency. And then I figured out these people were the best for the jobs. And with utmost respect to you, I urge you to deliver good governance. I am not going to interfere, especially when it comes to corruption, especially when it comes to illegal activities, especially when it comes to looting. You have my word for it. And I am telling you from this stage, anybody who gives you instructions to do that, ignore them. Ignore them. But rest of the areas, take people into confidence. Take the MLAs into confidence. Take the ministers into confidence, because we are together as one. Governance means all of us together. So take everybody together. Bring in a governance what is inclusive governance. With inclusive governance, a lot of problems could be addressed in a better way, in a speedier manner, in an efficient manner. So keep that in mind. I don't think I should say anything beyond this. And I wish you all the best, and you have my faith and my confidence. And please make me proud. Thank you.
Sir, as you desired, sir, the packed lunch is in front of all the officers. There is also agenda before the officers. So officers who have to present the agenda will keep their packed lunch aside and start the agenda, and then we go on. Collectors can have their packed lunch and bid us goodbye. Thank you.
5 minute break.
Okay,
all other secretaries also can,
No, is there any way? Why people
after
getting
the
up?
lunch.
The people are break. Huh? We
Secretary.
continue or there's a break? I think the lunch is served. We can have a working lunch and continue. Unless somebody wants to use washrooms for a while, maybe.
see how it has evolved over a period of time and how it represents the common man, the common law and practices in modern administration. Great number of theories have come on how in public administration, when the will of the people have to be implemented, it is the district magistracy which has always stood the test of time. We are also aware that when the courts of law have raised the issue of equality or rule of law, they have always mentioned that how district magistrate is answerable to the courts and how they should be implementing the canons of justice as well as the principles of our Constitution in an unflinching manner. We have also seen in the modern current context when governments and elected governments, that too, have always spoken about an inclusive administrative network. Now, inclusiveness must begin at home, just as they say that charity must begin at home. Inclusiveness would automatically mean that the district magistrate, the collector, the superintendent of police, and the entire team of officers working in the district are on the same thread, and they're all invigorated by the philosophy of the government in office, and that philosophy which loves to reach to common man in a most effective manner. So I would personally appeal to all the officers here that under the dynamic leadership of our Chief Minister, when we are going to listen to him, let's all attentively see how each one of us can play an important role in implementing that program of action. Of course, we are bound by our own conduct rules and our own lines of distinction and discrimination, but undoubtedly the philosophy of the government must be implemented in a very steadfast manner. I'm only reiterating these issues, not that you're not aware, but just to refresh everyone's memory here and see that the government's mandate is carefully carried forward by all of us here in this hall in an absolutely unflinching manner. I welcome all the officers to today's deliberations. I request Dr. Manmohan to carry on with the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request the Honorable Home Minister to kindly give her opening remarks.
నవ్యాంధ్రప్రదేశ్ చరిత్రలో దళిత మహిళలైనాకు హోంమంత్రిగా స్థానం కల్పించినటువంటి మా గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి వర్యులు శ్రీ వైఎస్ జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారికి, సహచర మంత్రివర్గ సభ్యులకు, అధికారులకు మరియు మీడియా వారికి నా హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. పారదర్శకత, నిష్పక్షపాతం, ఖచ్చితమైన పరిశోధన, త్వరితగతిన బాధితులకు న్యాయం, ఇవి మేము పాటించబోయేటువంటి మొదటి ప్రాధాన్యతలు. మా ప్రభుత్వం నిర్దేశించుకున్నటువంటి గమ్యాలు. బడుగు బలహీన వర్గాలకు, మైనారిటీలకు, ఇతర సాధారణ పౌరులకు పోలీసుల పట్ల విశ్వాసం పెంచడానికి గ్రామాల్లో ప్రజా దర్బార్ వంటి కార్యక్రమాలు, ఇతర అవగాహన సదస్సులను పోలీసు శాఖ నిర్వహిస్తుంది. రౌడీ షీటర్లు తదితర నేరస్తులకు కౌన్సిలింగ్ నిర్వహించే ప్రక్రియను పోలీసు శాఖ ఎప్పటికప్పుడు చేపడుతుంది. అంతేకాకుండా సమస్యాత్మక ప్రాంతాల్లో సీనియర్ పోలీస్ అధికారులు ఎప్పటికప్పుడు పర్యటించడం, రాత్రిపూట బస చేయడం వంటివి చేయడం వలన చాలా సమస్యలకు తక్షణ పరిష్కారాలు సాధ్యమవుతాయి. అదేవిధంగా మహిళలకు, పిల్లలపై రోజురోజుకు పెరుగుతున్నటువంటి అత్యాచారాలను అరికట్టడానికి, నేరగాళ్లను ఎక్కడికక్కడ కట్టడి చేయడానికి సంచార మహిళా పోలీస్ బృందాల పహారాను మరింత బలోపేతం చేస్తాం. మరియు రోజురోజుకు పెరిగిపోతున్నటువంటి మహిళలకు, చిన్నారులకు సంబంధించినటువంటి సమస్యలను ఇప్పటికే ప్రత్యేక విభాగాన్ని రూపొందించి ఇప్పటికే ఉన్నటువంటి విభాగాలను బలోపేతం చేయడం కూడా జరుగుతుంది. రహదారుల్లో ప్రయాణికుల భద్రత మా ప్రభుత్వానికి అత్యంత ప్రాధాన్యత అంశం. రోడ్డు ప్రమాదాలు, ప్రాణ నష్టం నివారించడానికి కాలేజీలు, పాఠశాలలు, జనసమూహాల్లోకి వెళ్ళి పోలీసులు అవగాహన కార్యక్రమాలు నిర్వహించడం జరుగుతుంది. రోడ్లపై ప్రయాణించే వాహనదారులకు నియమ నిబంధనలు పాటించేలా తెలియజెప్పడం ఇందులో ప్రధాన అంశం. రేపటి సామాజిక సంపద అయినటువంటి యువత గంజాయి, గుట్కా తదితర మాదక ద్రవ్యాలకు బానిసలవ్వకుండా వాటి వినియోగం వలన కలిగే హాని గురించి పోలీసులు విస్తృత ప్రచారం చేసి అవగాహన పెంచడం జరుగుతుంది. అంతేకాకుండా యువతను దురలవాట్లకు అసాంఘిక కార్యకలాపాలకు ప్రోత్సహించేటువంటి వారిపై కఠిన చర్యలు తీసుకోవడం కూడా జరుగుతుంది. గతంలో మెట్రోపాలిటన్ సిటీస్లో ఉండేటువంటి ఈ దురలవాట్లు దురదృష్టవశాత్తు మన రాష్ట్రంలో చిన్న చిన్న ప్రాంతాలకు కూడా విస్తరించడం జరుగుతుంది. దాని మీద మనం ప్రధానంగా దృష్టి సారించవలసినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. అదేవిధంగా విద్యా సంస్థల్లో ర్యాగింగ్ దురాచారాన్ని అరికట్టాలని ప్రభుత్వం నిర్ణయించడం జరిగింది. ఇందులో భాగంగా యాజమాన్యాలు విద్యార్థుల తల్లిదండ్రుల సహకారంతో ర్యాగింగ్ నిరోధక చట్టాన్ని అమలు చేయడం, అవగాహన కార్యక్రమాలు నిర్వహించడంలో పోలీసులు భాగస్వామ్యం కావడం ఇందులో ముఖ్యమైనటువంటి అంశం. అదేవిధంగా విధి నిర్వహణలో పోలీసులు ఎదుర్కొంటున్నటువంటి ఒత్తిడి తగ్గించడానికి ప్రభుత్వం వీక్లీ ఆఫ్ చేయడంతో పాటు సిబ్బంది కుటుంబాల కోసం సంక్షేమ కార్యక్రమాలు కూడా చేపడుతూ ఎప్పటికప్పుడు డిపార్ట్మెంట్తో సాన్నిహిత్యంతో పనిచేస్తుందని తెలియజేయడానికి సంతోషిస్తున్నాం. అదేవిధంగా 31/12/2018 నాటికి పోలీసు శాఖలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఖాళీలు 13,059. ఈ ఖాళీలను భర్తీ చేయడం ద్వారా పోలీసు శాఖను మరింత బలోపేతం చేసే ప్రక్రియను చేపడతాం. నిరుద్యోగ సమస్యను తగ్గించడానికి ప్రభుత్వం అదనంగా ఈ ఖాళీలన్నింటినీ భర్తీ చేయాలని నిర్ణయించడం జరిగింది. అంతేకాకుండా గతంలో కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం అదనంగా మంజూరు చేయబడినటువంటి 4 బెటాలియన్లు కూడా అందులో ఒకటి మహిళా బెటాలియన్, ఒక గిరిజన్ బెటాలియన్ ఏర్పాటు చేసి మొత్తం 4,000 ఉద్యోగాలను కూడా భర్తీ చేయాలని ప్రభుత్వం నిర్ణయించడం జరిగింది. ఈ మధ్యకాలంలో సైబర్ నేరాలు చాలా పెరిగిపోతూ ఉన్నాయి. వ్యక్తి స్వేచ్ఛను హరించే విధంగా వ్యక్తి దూషణ, అసభ్యకరమైనటువంటి పోస్టులు, అభ్యంతరకరమైనటువంటి ఫోన్ కాల్లు చేస్తున్న వ్యక్తులపై ఎవరు నేరారోపణ చేసినా కానీ వెంటనే వారిని కఠినంగా శిక్షించడం జరుగుతుంది. అంతేకాకుండా మట్కా, జూదం, బెట్టింగ్లు ఇలాంటి వాటిని సమాజంలో ప్రోత్సహించకుండా నిరోధించాల్సినటువంటి బాధ్యత మనందరి మీద ఉందని తెలియజేస్తూ ధన్యవాదాలు.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request the DGP to give overview of Home Department and make a presentation.
Respected Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu, respected Home Minister, senior ministers, the Chief Secretary, the Chief Secretaries, other Chief Secretaries, my dear senior officers and colleagues from the government service, those who are present here, on behalf of Andhra Pradesh Police, we extend our greetings and welcome to this gathering. At the outset, I must thank the Honorable Chief Minister for having given me this opportunity to head this police, this esteemed Andhra Pradesh Police, which has always been a front runner in the policing domain in the country. AP Police has a very proud legacy, whether it's combating terrorism. Historically, we have several institutions like Greyhound, SIB, CI Cell, Octopus, which has always been a front runner. It had a world-class training facilities like our police academy. It was one of the states which is most advanced in forensics until about a decade ago. Several reforms and standardizations in the policing were visible in our state. We were also amongst the first in dealing with cybercrime, white-collar offenses. At the same time, various security systems and even police communications, AP states was known. As well as innovations and technology adoption, we were among the forefront. Andhra Pradesh Police was a role model for all others to adopt, emulate, and replicate. And with that, that's the kind of legacy that we carry with us, and we are very proud of that, sir. The profile of AP Police as we stand poised on the ground, the strength 73,366. We have 12,368 home guards, 989 police stations, 195 circles, 90 subdivisions, police districts 16, 2 commissionerates, and 5 ranges, and we have 8 special armed police battalions. Now, as regards the duties and responsibility of the police, there are a lot of expectations, and these are the few duties and responsibilities amongst the many that we have listed out. Protect life, liberty, property of human rights and dignity, prevent and detain crimes, enforce and uphold rule of law, promote and preserve public order, protect internal security, intervene during disaster and distress, manage traffic on the roads and highways, amongst many. Now, we are all aware that the primary responsibility of the police, other than individuals, is maintaining law and order in the society. And we are also aware that law and order, peace and stability is absolutely essential for progress and development in any society. So therefore, we look at those concerns in the state of Andhra Pradesh that exists before us, which we, police of Andhra Pradesh, need to tackle and deal with to provide a stable atmosphere for the state to progress and develop. And they have been listed out: left-wing extremism, caste and communal conflicts, social vices and organized crime, development and related displacements, security of VIPs and installation, factions and political unrest. All of them have potential to disrupt and cause disturbances. If you look at the left-wing extremism, we have the sway over 5 districts, traditionally on the Andhra-Orissa border, and also with the recent areas of Chintur subdivision coming in, bordering Chhattisgarh. Now, apart from these 5 conventional interior areas, we also have issues about frontal and mass organization, which exists in urban centers, in mostly all over the state, starting from Tirupati, whether it's Guntur, Nellore, Kurnool, Vijayawada, or Eluru, Rajahmundry, Visakhapatnam, Srikakulam. All over the state, we see the activities of frontal and mass organization. We are aware that left-wing extremists generally look for issues to engage, issues to mobilize, organize, and the masses and veer them towards agitational politics. And the issues are very many. Some of them have been listed out. Some of the issues have been listed out, but they are not all encompassing, because issues keep emerging and they'll keep looking for opportunities to engage and involve in issues, and around which they would like to create awareness, generate interest of the masses, mobilize them, organize them, and then lead them, veer them towards agitational politics, and thereby create disturbances in the society. There are methodologies, the actions we have listed out: eliminate political and other targets, attack security forces, obstruct developmental activities. They also deploy action teams for very pointed actions. Now, all these activities, the objective is to usher in new democratic revolution and seize state power. So this is always a lurking danger that we always have. And we are also aware the capacity which the left-wing extremists, particularly the Maoists, have in creating terror in the state. So therefore, it always needs police to be on our toes and be alert and constantly be one step ahead of them. And sir, Andhra Pradesh Police, we have again a legacy of being on the forefront in dealing with this left-wing extremism. On the other hand, if you look at the Maoist violence, there has been a decreasing trend. Some sporadic incidents here and there, whenever they need to really show their existence or inflict some kind of a damage to the state, they keep on indulging. Other than that, other law and order and security concerns, we have the caste and communal conflicts. In the recent years, we see that there's more and more polarization along caste and communal sectarian issues, which would also create disturbances every now and then, depending upon situation, circumstances, and the issues. We also have seen rising fundamentalism, both in national and international, which is also an area where police needs to be always alert. And we have our intelligence as well as using technology. We are also coordinating across the country and beyond on this realm. Social vices and organized crime is also another area. Betting and gambling, trafficking, bootlegging, narcotics and drugs, adulteration, which also causes disturbance in the society. We also have many issues associated with development. Whenever any development programs are undertaken, industries are being put in place or being intended, we see a lot of agitation and disturbances. The issues surrounding Polavaram, SEZ, Vamsadhara, Bhogapuram International Airport, nuclear power plant at Kovada, these are few of them. There are many other than this. Similarly, security of VIPs and installations is also an area which needs our attention, sir. Apart from which, we also have this traditional problem surrounding faction and political unrest, particularly post-elections. We still have some simmering issues emerging, but we anticipate that it's not an organized but very localized. So therefore, very soon we will be able to contain them, sir. But as long as it exists, it will cause disturbances in the society. With the post-election and upcoming local body elections also, there's a need for us to be quite prompt on that, on our toes. Now, coming to crime, sir, if you see, this is a broad outlook in terms of the nature of crime, what is reported in Andhra Pradesh. We have about 880 murder cases annually. We also listed crime against women. That's also a priority area, a matter of concern for us, as well as road accidents. Last year, as many as 7,400 people died, lost their lives on the roads. And last year has been the minimum, because year before last 2 years, it had crossed 8,000, about 8,500 and 8,100 odd was the figures. So there is a huge loss of human life, precious lives. So there is a need for us to look at that area as well. Now, looking at crime patterns and trends in the state, we see once again bodily offenses, crimes against women, white-collar crimes, and road accidents to be one of the major heads of crime that engages us. Property, as regard the property offenses, there is a decreasing trend visible, sir. If you compare to up to May, and one of the reasons is basically police being very brisk and present on the ground in the wake of the elections that we had. As regards property offenses, the top 5 units where the property offenses are maximum are listed: Vijayawada City, West Godavari, Guntur Urban, Nellore, and East Godavari. Similarly, the bodily offenses, overall there has been a decrease, but if you look at up to May, we see that rioting and hurt cases have been increased. That is again primarily related to the election campaign and post-election time. And as regards bodily offenses, the first top 5 units, as usual, Guntur Rural has seen the maximum number of instances of bodily offenses, which is also a matter of concern. If the pattern becomes a little huge, there's a matter of concern needing interventions and special measures for that. White-collar offenses, there is an increasing trend in the white-collar offenses. If you see, mostly cheating and criminal breach of trust and as well as what is that? The new areas, new domains, which is cybercrime, which will come to that later. And if amongst the white-collar offences, we see the maximum in West Godavari, Visakhapatnam City, Vijayawada. And this may also have its own peculiar characteristic in a very localized manner. Crime against women, there has been a decreasing trend overall, but it's an area of concern and a very continuous engagement from our side. There will be special measures from our side addressing primarily crime against women and children. And this is one area where always no amount of work is enough, because not all crime gets reported because of the reasons that exists in our traditional and conservative societies. If you look at the crime against women, once again, Guntur, Krishna, Kurnool, Visakhapatnam City and West Godavari has registered the maximum number of cases. And crime against women, as I said, also relates to the ease of reporting, and in some state districts we see that they come forth and complain. Cases against the weaker sections, particularly SC/ST offences. Overall, there has been a decrease, but then again, that's an area of concern. So therefore, we'll be also very constantly monitoring and watching that. And up to May this year, if you see the comparative statement of crime, there has been a decrease, but we see that hurt cases, once again related to election period. Crime against the weaker section, SC/STs, once again, amongst the top 5 units, you find Guntur, Kurnool registering the maximum number of cases, followed by Prakasham, West Godavari, and Kadapa. Road accident, as I said, sir, is an area of much concern. During last year, AP Police was amongst the top 2 states where we have been able to intervene and see that the trend is bucked, and then the increase has been contained as in the past it was. So if you see today, with regards to the road safety per lakh population, Andhra Pradesh stands 10th, in 10th position if you relate it to deaths per lakh for population. As I mentioned, 2018, it was the second best performing state. And road safety is a domain, is an area which needs multiple stakeholder intervention, starting from education, engineering, enforcement, environment and emergency care needs as well, post-accident needs, also integration of all emergency response and stakeholders to reduce the death. The golden hour concept is very critical during road accident strategies that we put in place. There is also a need to evolve a state policy and a strategy to deal with this, with the rate kind of casualties that is being visible on the ground on a daily basis. These are the figures which reflects the situation on the ground. And if you see, sir, the road accidents up to May this year, once again, the top 5 units where we see maximum, and most of these deaths are occurring in the national highways and state highways. Coming to crime against children, that's also another area that needs attention. It has been consistently quite high in the state. So we also need to devise strategies, and that is also a focus area of this government. We shall also be undertaking special measures for that, sir. And as far as reporting is concerned, top 5 units, Guntur rural, West Godavari, Krishna, Prakasham, Guntur and urban. Coming to cyber crime, this is again a new area where we find increasing trend in terms of offences. And we see that up to May, there has been unusually large number of cybercrime instances. So there is a need for police to really build our capacities and keep pace with that rising expectations, and which is only likely to increase in times to come. So therefore, we really need to be very proactive and futuristic in this. Once again, sir, most of these top 5 units, Visakhapatnam City, Srikakulam, Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam Rural and West Godavari has been registering the maximum number of cases during the year, sir. We also have issues about drugs and narcotic substances, both in terms of traditional ganja cultivation, trade and distribution and use. At the same time, new drugs are also coming in, particularly in the cities. So that's another area where we need to really focus and see that we arrest, not only arrest, but then try to eradicate these problems. As regards the cases, once again, sir, we see a trend centering around Visakhapatnam City and rural, registering the maximum number of cases. Sir, Andhra Pradesh Police today faces many challenges. We are all aware the kind of challenges, particularly post-bifurcation. There were several key and critical institutional capacities which we had to forego and leave behind in Hyderabad. That has really seriously incapacitated us and put us in a handicapped situation. We have police training academy we do not have. We may run a makeshift academy at Anantapur PTC, Forensic Sciences Lab, or as well as this anti-extremist training institutions and establishments like Greyhounds, Octopus, and all our technology and R&D facilities surrounding use of technology and IT, etc. The labs have been left behind. There is also a need for institutional infrastructure supporting police's functioning and engagement on the ground on a day-to-day basis. Unlike many other governmental institutions, police would need the support infrastructures. We also have manpower shortage, which is about 12,198, and which is likely to rise to 30% with a weekly off, which our Honorable CM was very kind enough to understand the kind of challenges we are facing on the ground on a day-to-day basis and announced. And if you look at the population ratio, sir, police population ratio, Andhra Pradesh, we are in a very weak footing. At the same time, armed police battalions, when you come to that, at the time of the division, the Government of India had also sanctioned 4 India Reserve battalions, which our Honorable Home Minister had just mentioned. But for whatever reasons, they were not raised. In fact, the raising of India Reserve battalions, the Government of India extends a support of 83.4, almost 84 crores per battalion. So that is something which, as our Honorable Home Minister has mentioned, probably we could look at the possibility of raising a Mahila battalion and at the same time a tribal battalion. Similarly, the State Disaster Response Force, keeping in with the long coastline that we have and a very continuous vulnerability to the natural disasters, 6 companies of SDRF has been sanctioned. It's not been sanctioned, but it has been created out of the existing APSP battalions. Regular sanction and regularization of this entity is also absolutely essential, because attached to this, linked to this, is several funding support from Government of India as well as World Bank, sir. So to enable us to really tap those resources and build our capacities, there is a certain amount of actions that is necessary. We would soon put forth, sir. And talking about, sir, evidence-based policing, forensic science is one of the very important element of policing as part of evidence-based policing. Today we only have 46 hands as against the 2,202 that we had. And relatively speaking, we are based quite weakly, sir. Nevertheless, sir, we are all looking forward for the change and transformation that the Honorable Chief Minister has been reiterating, and the new government has ushered in. The change that we have seen in the recent mandate, it's the people, the citizens of the state, which quested for change and demanded for a change and aspired for a change. And with the change came the new government and our Honorable Chief Minister, who rode that crest of that change. And with that change, we are also looking at it as an opportune moment, sir. And change and transformation does not read resources. It is all your mindset, and it needs your attitudinal change. And we are really looking towards that, sir. New goals and visions, new horizons. We will sit down and devise our strategies and a roadmap to achieve them, and transform the police towards a more service-oriented policing, as you have been saying. Seva bhavananto, which you keep on reiterating, sir. We need to reassure every citizen, particularly the vulnerable sections and weaker sections, women and children, poor and the masses. Towards that, we work, change in attitude and mindset, and make sure there is access to justice that you had mentioned. We're looking at the parameters which you have been mentioning, the attributes: an efficient, proactive, sensitive, transparent, accountable, corruption-free government and, policing. As part of the government's philosophy and principles, which you have been elucidating ever since, even before you came and assumed power, sir. And I know that, we all know that, sir. Whatever you say, you go by that. And you have also demonstrated, even before coming, sir, you had mentioned about giving weekly offs, the conditions under which the police is functioning on a daily basis are very challenging, difficult, physically as well as mentally, the circumstances. Understanding that weekly offs have been announced. At the same time, enhancements of the allowances that is being honorarium that is being given to the Home Guards has already been enacted. So we are really looking forward, sir, putting that in this framework for policing change and transformation once again in a templated format, sir. We are looking towards improved service delivery, police credibility, at the same time transform policing as a people's police in our new democratic system that we have in our country, and as per your visions and directives, sir. We are really indeed looking forward, sir, to your inspiring leadership. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, we take this opportunity to also once again thank you very much for the weekly offs that you had announced even before coming to power, and that was one of the first decisions that you had done. It has given a tremendous respite and relief, and more than anything, sir, reassurance to every policeman, particularly rank and file, down the line, the cutting edge level, where the constable and head constable, sir. So towards that direction, so we had constituted, as per your direction, a committee headed by our ADG Law and Order, and they have come out with a report which is already implemented, sir, but as a guideline, the committee report is going to be released from your hands, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, done, sir.
Thank you, sir, for releasing the report of the committee. Now there will be presentations by superintendents of police.
Sir, we would be confining only to the issues which are relevant to address by the district administration, sir. Srikakulam.
Sir, very good morning, sir. I am Amireddy, sir, SP Srikakulam. Sir, the issues from the district as far as the law and order is concerned, sir. One is the main issue is the left-wing extremism, sir.